When people think of theft during the Nazi era, they often imagine broken windows, smashed shops, mobs looting in the streets, chaos, violence, disorder, but the greatest robbery carried out against Europe's Jews was not chaotic at all. It was quiet, organized, filed neatly in folders. It was theft done with stamps, forms, receipts, and signatures. And it involved not only the Nazi leadership, but millions of ordinary citizens who benefited without ever pulling a trigger. In Germany, the destruction of Jewish life did not begin with gas chambers, it began in living rooms. As Jewish families were forced from their homes through deportation, imprisonment, or suicide, the state moved in with astonishing efficiency. Apartments were sealed, doors were locked, and then the inventory began. Officials entered room by room, documenting everything left behind: chairs, tables, plates, coats, children's toys, wedding gifts, pianos, linen, lamps, shoes. Nothing was too small to record. Lives were reduced to lists. This was not looting by soldiers or mobs. It was bureaucracy. Tax offices, municipal administrations, and state-certified auctioneers coordinated the process. Every object was categorized, assigned a value, and prepared for resale. The Nazi regime called it Aryanization, a cold word that hid the reality: systematic expropriation based on race. The Jewish owners were already gone. Some were in camps, some had fled, many were already dead. But their possessions remained, and the state treated those possessions as assets to be redistributed for the benefit of the so-called national community. Entire households were emptied and packed into warehouses. Officials labeled boxes with addresses, names, and item counts. The irony was brutal. A regime that branded Jews as chaotic and corrupt carried out their dispossession with meticulous order. Soon, public auctions were announced. They were advertised openly. Dates, locations, item descriptions. German citizens lined up to attend. There was no secrecy, no shame. These auctions offered high-quality goods at heavily reduced prices. Furniture crafted by hand. Fine china, well-made clothing, musical instruments. Items that would normally be unaffordable suddenly became bargains, and people bought them. Neighbors sat on chairs that had belonged to families they once greeted on the staircase. Children wore coats taken from other children who had vanished. Pianos were moved into homes where music continued, detached from the hands that once played them. Payment was made to the state. This is the part that is hardest to face. The theft of Jewish property was not only enforced from above, it was absorbed into daily life. The regime turned ordinary Germans into beneficiaries of persecution. You did not have to believe in anti-Semitic ideology to participate. You only had to enjoy a good deal. Each purchase created distance from the crime. It felt legal, official, clean. There were receipts. That paper trail did exactly what it was meant to do. It transformed moral horror into administrative normality. Meanwhile, the victims were erased not just physically, but materially. When families were deported, their last connection to life as it once existed was severed. Returning home was impossible not only because they were gone, but because their homes had been emptied, reassigned, repopulated. Even memory was stripped away. What makes this theft especially chilling is its scale. This was not the work of a few corrupt officials. It was nationwide, from large cities to small towns, from wealthy households to modest apartments. The same process repeated itself thousands of times. Every desk lamp, every rug, every spoon added up to an ocean of stolen life. And after the war, silence settled over these objects. Germany lay in ruins, people were hungry, cities were destroyed. Survival took precedence over reflection. Many Germans told themselves that they had simply bought items legally, that they had not known. That everyone had done the same. The furniture remained. The dishes stayed in cupboards. The coats were passed down. Decades went by. In many homes, no one talked about where certain things came from. A piano with no story, a set of silverware with no origin. a wardrobe that had existed longer than the family using it. These objects became normal, absorbed into everyday life, even as the people who once owned them were reduced to names on memorials, if remembered at all. Occasionally, fragments surfaced, a stamp on the back of a painting, an inventory number scratched into wood, auction documents found in archives, lists showing names crossed out, followed by prices and buyers. Each discovery reopened the question that had been buried for generations: who did this belong to? The truth is uncomfortable because it shows how genocide does not rely only on killers. It relies on systems, on paperwork, on neighbors who look away, on citizens who accept benefits without asking why they are available. The Holocaust was not only murder, it was also theft on an industrial scale. The state taught people that Jewish property was ownerless once Jews were removed, that taking was not stealing if the law approved it. That morality could be overwritten by administration. This is how ordinary life was weaponized. Not through fanaticism alone, but through routine. Today, many of these objects still exist in private homes across Germany and beyond. They do not scream. They do not accuse, they sit quietly, bearing witness in silence. They are the physical remains of lives interrupted, families erased, futures stolen. They remind us that atrocity can be neat, that evil can wear the face of order, and that history is not only written in mass graves, but in cupboards, attics, and living rooms where stolen objects became normal. The bureaucratic theft of Jewish property shows how deeply a society can be implicated in injustice without dramatic moments of violence. It shows how a nationwide crime can be carried out not with chaos but with calm efficiency. And it leaves behind a haunting question that still echoes today: what responsibility remains when the crime has been normalized, the victims silenced, and the stolen goods made part of everyday life?